Welcome back to a new Hints and Theories video, this time about episode number 8. And hi, if you're new here on this channel, my name is Julia, and here we talk about hints and theories that will hopefully help you figure out who the mole is. So, I think this one is going to be a bit shorter than usually, and with that we jump right into all the hints and theories. We have some, probably hints to have to talk about, but first we start with task number 1, the underwater quiz plus the boat group, as I like to call it. Heads up already, this probably wasn't my favorite episode, to be honest. Yeah, just that. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about those two tasks we had here. So let's have a look at the quiz group first. So the underwater group, and at some point we didn't get to see all of the questions anymore, as in not the complete thing anymore, as in question plus answer options plus which candidate answered what. But from all we got to see and all we can conclude from that, I think it's very sure to say, very definite to say, that Dan definitely gave the most incorrect answers here. A lot more incorrect answers than the other two, and with that, of course, didn't earn any money and also sabotaged the boat group. Then there was also the thing that we had those balls which they had to pick up if they had an correct answer, and yeah, the trick here was that they also were balls with min money on that, and Quinty actually picked up one of the min money balls, and that was min 50 euro at some point. But I mean, we can say that this is suspicious, but I think Dan is so suspicious here. Yeah, that the Quinty thing, it's a bit of a pity that she picked it up, but yeah, Dan is way more suspicious here than she is. Then we had the boat group, and to be honest, at first I didn't really know how to handle that, because it's just, wasn't my favorite task. The boat group here, I think Matteo, so we had Bram and Matteo. Matteo was in the better position because he sat in the back, and that of course makes the whole thing we watch each other to control what the other one is doing a lot more difficult. Yeah, Bram also could have sabotaged a few things right in front of him, but Matteo probably was in a better position. All in all, I think we didn't really get a good overview of what they were doing, especially how many things they were pulling out, and yeah, there was a lot of water pretty quickly in the boat, but then again there was Dan underwater sabotaging a lot as well, so probably no surprise that the boat sank pretty quickly. Then task number 2. And to be honest, I think it's hard how we should handle that one, because we know that in the end the production decided to give money to that organization there, to the music organization, which is great, but it makes the whole thing a lot more difficult for us, simply because they said that they would give the exact same amount of money which the candidates earned to that organization. And if you make a decision like that, you probably want it to be more than just 200 euro. So one option is that they said, and of course I think the mole knew that they were going to give money to that. So one option is that they said to the mole, oh, you know what, don't do any molding here, of at least not that much, so that there will be a nice sum that we can give to them. Or because that also was very hard to judge, is that they actually had that 1,500 euro, which it was in the end, that they kind of had the sum already and decided to give it to them as well as to the candidates. Because if you remember it, they had those lights there, green lights and then a yellow one, but this scale does not make any sense if there are no euros well, no option setting there. You can have a scale with 10 lights going on, but that doesn't mean anything. Is one light €1? Is one light €100? Is one light €1,000? We do not know that if there's no information on that scale itself. So yeah, that makes the whole how shall we judge that, how shall we interpret that, a lot more difficult here. But if we assume that the mole well tried to do some modeling here, then Bram was probably the most suspicious one, very obvious with his mobile phone that kept switching songs when they actually tried to perform, and that several times. So yeah, that of course was suspicious and very, well, not good for their performance and not good for earning any money. We had Quinty, who actually said to him that he should put his mobile phone away, which makes it a little bit less suspicious because, well, as a mole, you would probably want him to, well, ruin the whole performance. And yeah, Dan really wasn't. I try to think of anything that Dan did suspicious here, but it was at least not as obvious as in task number 1. So yeah, as you can see, I think it's really difficult to really get anything from this task. It was a nice one. It was another one in which they tried to do something with the people living there, which is always great. But the whole, we want to figure out who the mole is, yeah, probably wasn't very helpful for that one. And now there are some special hints as well. One has to do with task number 1, and that is that one of the questions they had. So they had more difficult and more easier questions, and one of the easy questions was, what is the name of the best friend of SpongeBob SquarePants? And then we get an interview scene, and in that one, Dan says, I knew that that answer to the question, it's Patrick, I've watched it a lot, and then he grins and all of that. And these small fans figured out that it probably could be a hidden hint to Dan as mole, simply because we actually had a mole Patrick a few years ago. I think it was in season 11, so in 2011. And yeah, I mean, that would be a nice one, I think, so that they can say in the finale or whenever that Dan actually hinted at, he's been watching old seasons to prepare himself for his role as mole, and then he watched the Patrick season as well. I did check the Vista Mole book here, because they always ask the candidates some questions, 10 questions to be precise, and one of the standard questions they ask is who their favorite mole was until now, and Dan did not answer Patrick, unfortunately. He said it was Kay Stoll, which was in 2013, I think. But yeah, I mean, then it would really have really been a hint, I think. Unfortunately, it isn't like that. But I mean, it would still be a nice one, and we know from other old moles that they indeed did watch some seasons to prepare themselves. So maybe it is a hint to Dan. And then, unfortunately, and I'm sorry for all of you who are in another channel, but the other 2 hidden hints I have prepared for you are also about Dan. The first one is that, oh no, there are 3. All about Dan, but even one more. We get to see a shot in the episode of the candidate sitting at the beach and drinking some cocktails or whatever, and we get to see them sitting there, and there's a palm tree, and we can see that in that palm tree there's an M carved into it. And yeah, Dan's last name is Boom, which is the Dutch word for tree. So it is a tree, a boom with an M on it. Yeah, that could definitely be a hint to Dan Boom. And then there's an interesting scene in the episode happening there as well, because he says to the other candidates, "Oh, can you see that hidden hint there, over there?" And he points at one of the boats, which you can see underwater, because there was his last name standing on the boat, like even twice. So boom, boom, yeah. And one more about Dan, and that is that he. We know that there are a lot of things about eyes in this season. You know, the eyes are, well, a theme that keeps coming back and back and back. Although in this episode it wasn't really such a big thing. But some people recognized that Dan likes to make one move, and that is this one. And if you, I hope it's good to see, if you have a look at this one, then you could interpret it as eyes. So the whole arms and then the head in the middle, you could interpret this as an eye. And he did make that move in several episodes. Also in this one, when he is preparing for his acrobatic movements there, then he's lying on the ground at some point and also makes this move. But in other episodes it was as well. So yeah, I think that is a pretty good one, to be honest, because in the last years we had some hints that they were like showing an M with their fingers or other, well, weird body movements. But this one, well, using this kind of idea as in, but not showing an M, because that kind of gets old at some point, and we use the I as symbol. I actually like that hidden hint. And last but not least, if you've watched last week's video, then you know that I've told you about the whole, the first word Rick says to the candidates adds up to a sentence. And that sentence was welcome, or in Dutch welcome, jij staat oog in oog, of nee, jij kijkt ook in oog with the mole, maybe, that was the idea. So we came, okay, that was a weird Dutch-English mix, I realized just now. The sentence in English was, welcome, you look eye to eye with, and until then we got, we came to the point in which they said with, but now the next word is me. So welcome, you look eye to eye with me. And the idea is that maybe then there will be a name of one of the candidates added. So welcome, you look eye to eye with me, Dan, Bram, Quinty, Matteo. Maybe. So unfortunately it didn't continue with more or anything, but maybe it's still a hint, because, well, that would be, I mean, there has to be something, I guess. It does not add up without any idea to this sentence, or does it? What do you think about it? Let me know it in the comments below. I hope you were happy with this. It's not that short video, but still, unfortunately, I think there weren't that many hints this time. But maybe you have spotted the hint that leads us to the mall. So let me know in the comments below what you thought about it. And then we will hopefully see each other again next week, when we are really, really close to getting to know who the mole is. Until then, bye!